Hello, good evening. It's News 360 coming to you live from the News Hub here at Adesawa in Kanda. I am Portia Gabo.
And my name is Pa Kwesiasari. Coming up in the next 60 minutes.
News 360 Headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint
and Napa Foods, Heaven Black Insecticide Spray and Coil.
More flood-related death. We assess the impact of Wednesday's downpour, even as the Meteorological Agency predicts more rains.
We'll go to Parliament where Speaker Alban Bablin directs Business Committee of the House to schedule anti-gay bill into next week's agenda in spite of two court suits.
Also in the bulletin tonight, an Accra High Court dismisses James Gyakye Quayson's motion seeking to halt his daily trial until the conduct of the Asin North by-elections.
Coming up in business news, uncertainties on the bond market following government's domestic debt exchange program cited as a major reason for declining bond market activities.
And elsewhere on the international front, Zimbabwe's electoral body clears 11 candidates to contest presidential elections in August. We've got details of all these stories plus many more coming up in the next 60 minutes. Remember, we're streaming live on Facebook. We're also live on your DSTV channel 279. You can join us with your views, comments and suggestions. You can also share your experiences with us during this rainy season. Go to any of our social media pages on Facebook and on Twitter.
Tonight, we stay on the aftermath of the floods after two teenagers drowned in a flood-related incident, while victims and families of the deceased share their harrowing stories.
Right, so let's start from the Kwapem South municipality of the Eastern region, where two teenagers drowned while fetching water from a river which had overflowed its banks. Now, residents of three communities in the catchment area are blaming the incident on a foods processing company which has constructed a dam on the river.
The deceased teenagers aged 11 and 14 are reported to have gone to fetch water from the Insachi River, which had overflowed its banks. According to residents, spilling excess water from the dam constructed by the food processing company resulted in the river overflowing its banks and causing the death of the teenagers.
Standard and to flow in terms of the bridge in
The river overflowed its banks and carried the teenagers away.
Their farms have also been submerged by the floodwaters. But corporate manager of Blue Skies company, Alista Jimate, has denied the allegation.
If there is something about our dam that is leading to this kind of flood that may result in the loss of life, we would definitely do something about it. But the truth be told that these kids did not fall into our dam, and where they lost their life has absolutely virtually nothing to do with our dam. But as a responsible organization that's working with the community, we are very much concerned about anything that could lead to the loss of life. So we would want to be involved to make sure that what has happened will not happen again.
And in Accra, heavy rains over the past months have made life unbearable for many families. For many, it's a story of grief, heartache and sleepless nights. Christian Yali reports.
The rains are here again and the impacts are already severe. At least we have heard from the Ghana Meteorological Agency saying that we should expect more rains in the coming weeks or months. Now, the effects are already here, dire. It has resulted in flooded houses and flooded roadways. Now, this has culminated also in extensive damages to people's properties and in some cases, tragic loss of lives. I am here at Odona to engage residents about how this is affecting them and whether they have plans of relocating to safety. She says whenever it rains, they have no option than to run for their lives to seek safety because the water can rise to even the neck level. This is a very big compound. Whenever it rains, the Odo River overflows and comes here straight for so many months and even years. This has been the situation here whenever it rains. The question I ask is, for how long are these residents going to remain in this terrible situation?
So don't we man buy inside. Say so form na a dani na coffee. This is ya aranya ensu 3 days ni ami. Ni sansu masasa mi never be ponda. Because minyama say ya mi dia go do no mi nkan.
He says for about 3 days now he has been collecting water, not essentially coming from the Odo River, but even from the ground. So the water is coming from the ground. He says the buildings here are gradually sinking down. This is the Nima Gata. It is coming all the way from Nima and it goes down there to join the Odona. Now this side of the Gata is totally broken down. Now the impact is that at the least provocation of the rains, the river overflows its bank and then it floods all the households along this stretch.
The rains have spoiled most of our things inside. So once it's rained, the children won't be able to go to school. We too, we won't be able to go to our work. When it's rainy season like this, all we do is vigil. Even if it is midnight, we all be awake because we don't know what might happen. Certificate to my school and my daughter's school items. I don't understand. A lot of people lost their properties. Most of the houses here, most of the rooms here, they don't have chairs, they don't have mattress. They sleep on the floor.
If you're a woman being, you day for this place, what does it happen to you? You'll be the sickness.
Let's now turn our attention to the energy sector as Ghana risks a return to Dumso as the deadline by the independent power producers to have government pay them part of their near $2 billion debt nears. But what really do we know about the IPPs and their contribution to the country's energy mix? My colleague Eric Marina Edbeta is joining me here in the studio. Thanks for your time, Eric. What more do we know about the independent power producers? Right,
so Portia, in terms of the country's total energy generation mix, there's a trajectory to where we've reached as a country, and there's been a series of doomsaws in the past, as the parlance that a lot of Ghanaians are used to. And after the power situation began to heighten, the government resorted to energy sector reforms, which meant that they opened the gateway for privatization into the country's energy generation mix. And that's where these independent power producers sort of gained grounds and entered Ghana's energy generation because firstly, it was just Akosombo that used to do all of the generation for us. And so these independent power producers, you can mention Sunon Asogli and the likes, they've come in, contributed to the country's generation mix now. And so at the last time of check-in at the Energy Ministry's website in itself, we're looking at over 4,000 megawatts of power generated, with 38% being hydro. And that's where the Bui Dam and then the Kosombo Dam takes care of. That's the 38% they take care of. Now, the thermal energy, which the IPPs contribute a large chunk to, contributes about 65% of the energy that we get as a country. And so they are independent individuals who are helping in the generation of electricity for the country. And now they say that they are owed some monies and that government has to pay them.
And they're asking for 30% of that debt owed them.
Exactly. And so the debt is close to about $2 billion US, but they are demanding that government pays them about 30% of that to ease a lot of the production that goes into the generation of the energy which you and I enjoy, to ensure that Dumsor does not become a thing that we live with again. And so that's for starters. And then they put a deadline to it, the 30th of this month, after which there's a threat that they will shut down their power plant.
And it's just next week that we'll get to that June 30. Has there been any meetings, any news from the Finance Ministry?
What we do know, based off of conversations from the CEO of the Independent Power Producers, Elik Blim Apetogbo, who spoke to us earlier today, was that there was a meeting with officials of the Finance Ministry, but indications is that a lot of these parties are quite tight-lipped as to exactly what the meeting has been about and the outcome of the meeting. The conversation has been that government needs to put a better offer on the table, because there's been lots of talk of renegotiating the debts to make it easier on the books of the country, because there's the IMF conversation, there's a debt restructuring and all of that has happened. And so that's what government is offering these independent power producers now, which they are rejecting, and the threat is coming in, reason why the meeting has been called. There's concern on the part of government, because if they shut down, it would bring catastrophe for energy and the power that we enjoy at our various homes. And so we're still working our sources to get details as to this meeting, which a lot of the individuals who partook in it are quite tight-lipped on. But as and when we do get enough details, we'll bring it.
Thank you so much, Eric Mawina, Edbeta reporter, giving us details about the June 30 deadline by the independent power producers.
Right, Portia. A reminder, you're still watching News 360. Our major news bulletin for the day was streaming live on Facebook. We're also live on your DSTV channel 279. To one of the such stories that has been trending since yesterday, robbery attacks on police officers accompanying substandard vehicles for cash transfers forced the Inspector General of Police to issue threats not to allow personnel to escort any vehicle without the necessary protection. Now, banks have been given up to July 1 to ensure the use of armored bullion vans for cash in transit. Well, the president of the Association of Bullion Van Operators, Alhaji Idi Sumaila, tells TV3 the association is working hard to meet the deadline.
Thursday, June 22, a police officer was shot and killed at a filling station in Ablekuma, a suburb of Accra, in another bullion van attack. The makeshift cash transit pickup vehicle he and others were in was at the filling station to collect cash when they were attacked. The police service has intensified its manhunt for the 4 robbers. The president of the Association of Bullion Operators Ghana, Alhaji Idi Sumaila, spoke about the progress of work in securing armored bullion vans for cash transit.
Our engagement with the banks actually has gone far. There's a committee in place of our regulators who are dealing with the matter since 2020. So we are working with the Association of Bankers, we are working with the Bank of Ghana, as well as the Ghana Police Service and the Ministry of Interior. So we have gone far with our discussions with them.
Okay.
And I'll show you that the vehicles, about 60% of our requirements are in town, and some have started working, and by 1st July, all the soft-skin vans will be taken off our roads. Before the vehicle is imported into the country, it's a process. You have to go through the Ministry of Interior to get clearance. After that, you have to identify your manufacturer, of course, which are outside the country. Deal with them. They will inspect your clearance from your country's Ministry of Interior. Then they will also refer to their security agencies to handle the matter before the clearance is given to them to retrofit.
It will be recalled that the Bank of Ghana issued a directive in 2021 for all financial institutions to procure sophisticated protective vans, failing which the central bank said it would not admit substandard or soft-skinned cash in transit (CIT) vehicles into any of its premises nationwide. The deadline was, however, extended to July 1, 2023, after the Jamestown robbery attack on bullion van in which a police officer was killed and another bystander hit by a stray bullet.
In more news tonight, the Criminal Court 3 of the Accra High Court has set July 4 to begin daily hearing of perjury trial against deposed MP for Asin North, James Gyakye. Lawyers for the NDC parliamentary candidate had filed a motion to halt the hearing of his trial to allow Gyakye to campaign for the Asin North by-election. Lord Edward Sari sat through proceedings and reports.
Lead counsel Chachi Chikata had cited Article 55(13) of the Constitution to make a case for his client that he was on a national assignment and prayed the court to vary the day-to-day hearing of his trial. Lawyer Chachi Chikata also accused the Attorney General of making prejudicial comments in the matter after citing that Godfrey Adame had in media interviews indicated that Gyakye would suffer same fate as Adamu Sakonde, a former MP for Boku Central who had been jailed for false declaration of UK citizenship. But in her ruling on Friday, June 23, presiding judge Mary Mami Ekuye-Yanzu told the court that adjournments are solely at the discretion of the court and not the convenience of parties. She agreed with the Attorney General and noted that the application to vary the hearing was unmeritorious. The case has since been adjourned to June 29 and July 4 for the day-to-day hearing to begin. Deputy Attorney General Diana Sunaba noted that the prosecution is satisfied.
We are satisfied and not surprised because the court has only reinforced a time-honored principle of rule of law. Now, if you look at rule of law, one of the 4 principles is that access to justice must be timely by a competent authority. And it's right, as legal practitioners, it is not unusual for a court to make an order for a day-to-day hearing of a matter. And so we were not surprised. We're also happy that the court has only reinforced what is known. And this principle of rule of law is also replicated in the case management and practice direction that we have as a court.
Member of the legal representation of the Asin North parliamentary candidate, Baba Jamal, spoke to the media.
Even though our application was dismissed, but we have achieved what we actually asked for. We asked for time for the candidate to be able to campaign and then come back to court. So if the court, even though has dismissed our application, has also fixed the dates of 29th and 4th July, that effectively also, achieved our aim. And so we are very happy with what has happened. We are going to study the ruling, and then we will know the next step to take. But for now, we are happy our candidate have the space.
Daily hearing of the trial begins on July 4 due to the unavailability of the specific court on Mondays, the June 27 by-election, as well as pending holiday. Lodi Dasari, TV3 News, Accra.
Still staying on politics tonight, New Patriotic Party parliamentary aspirant Francis Adainimo has downplayed polls which suggest that Alan Kyerematen, Dr. Mamadou Bawumia and Kennedy Agyapong are favorites in the party's upcoming primaries. Now, speaking to TV3 after filing his nomination, he indicated that it will be a disaster for the party if delegates fail to elect him to lead the party in the 2024 general elections. Joseph Armstrong has the rest of the story.
The former Asante Mampo member of parliament arrived at the party headquarters with a few supporters amid singing and dancing, unlike other aspirants who filed their nominations earlier. The 58-year-old civil engineer proceeded to file his nomination, assuring his party supporters of victory this time after losing his earlier bid to lead the party in 2014. After filing his nomination, the NPP stalwart, who attempted to re-enter parliament after losing the NPP flag bearer bid in 2014, but lost the party's parliamentary primary in 2015, said he was not moved by the crowd which followed his contenders to file.
You can't ever be moved by anybody's crowd, you know. At the end of the day, we are dealing with delegates, and so the strategies are different. Adainimo's strategy is different from all the others, and I focus on my strategy. So I can even decide to do a one-on-one campaign. So I'm not moved by anybody's strategy. I am focused on my strategy in getting to delegates. At the end of the day, it's how you secure the victory.
For him, it would be a disaster if delegates failed to vote for him, cautioning party executives against engaging in activities which will favor any candidate.
you think it will be a disaster if the delegates make mistake and go for the other?
I have analyzed my point that if you pick a person who has been in government after the party's 8 years, it doesn't go well for the party.
The NPP Director of Elections, Ivan Snimakun, assured aspirants of a transparent process in the lead-up to the primary.
Issues that may have come up as in the conduct of the process, they raise the issue of fairness, transparency of the process. And this, I can assure you that looking at the caliber of people who constitute the elections committee, they can be assured that the whole process will be conducted fairly, freely, and transparently. That is assured.
Reacting to polls which suggested Alan Tramatin, Dr. Baumia, and Kennedy Japan are favorites, he warned pollsters to tread cautiously.
The polls which are coming out and people are rubbishing others, I will urge all those people, all those pollsters, that they need to tread cautiously, because this contest is not an easy contest for anybody. It's not an easy contest. It is the media and some pollsters, in my opinion, that I've observed, and they are trying to hype some contestants to be ahead more than others, but always fear the underdog.
The two-time Member of Parliament for Asante Mampong, who placed third after Nana Akufo-Addo and Alan Tramatin in his earlier attempts, is the 9th aspirant to have filed barely 24 hours to closing of nominations.
Is the 9th person who has filed his nomination to contest the NPP flag bearership race. He's confident of winning the upcoming presidential election because the last time he tried in 2014, he came third. And for him, the NPP cannot break the 8th without him. Well, time will tell. Joseph Armstrong, Gold, Alibwe TV3, Accra.
In more news tonight, the One Health approach highlights the interconnectedness of human, animal, and environmental health, emphasizing collaboration across sectors for effective prevention and control. Ghana has made significant strides in implementing this approach, aiming to protect the nation from pandemic threats and tackle public health challenges. Emmanuel Samani reports.
The One Health Technical Working Group and the World Health Organization, as well as the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, engaged policymakers and stakeholders on the draft of One Health policy. Ghana, driven by pandemic threats, has embraced the International Health Regulations, IHR 2005, and the Global Health Security Agenda, GHSA, emphasizing the importance of a coordinated approach to public health challenges.
The policy is trying to get human health, animal health, and environmentalists to work closely than before. Now we have identified, globally and not only in this country, that the issues about health is not only in humans, it goes outside the human sector, but you can pick diseases from the environment and from animals. So you need a policy that will strengthen the collaboration between these three sectors.
The One Health policy aims to improve data sharing, coordination, and research for actionable insights to tackle zoonotic diseases effectively. The policy dialogue event offers policymakers an opportunity to understand the One Health Technical Working Group's work and provide valuable input for refinement and finalization.
If you look at over the years, you can see that we had a lot of zoonotic conditions in Ghana. Marburg, Lassa, yellow fever, they're all zoonotic in nature. And we have been working, if you look at from down, district, region, and the national level. But then we want to be sure that we have better way of improving on data sharing. So that's one thing that this, hopefully this policy will address. We also need to have a better way of coordination. Coordination has also been a challenge over the years. We're hoping that it will correct it. We also to have improvement in terms of research for action. So those are things that we are hoping that the new policy will address, and then to have assured funding for One Health conditions.
The policy aims to strengthen collaboration between human, animal, and environmental sectors, enhancing Ghana's capacity to tackle zoonotic diseases effectively by creating an enabling environment for joint responses to health outbreaks.
Education stories now, and all too soon, the season 6 of the Sharks Quiz competition is coming to an end, with the grand finale set to take place tomorrow at the College of Physicians and Surgeons. With 4 schools competing for the ultimate glory, the stakes are undoubtedly high. The Sharks Quiz competition is an all-round school quiz competition. It promotes core competencies in literacy, numeracy, STEM, and social literacy. According to the organizers, tomorrow's competition promises to be a thrilling contest with many amazing packages in place for participating schools. Some finalists have equally expressed optimism about winning the race.
We're excited about what we believe is going to be an epic final. The students are going to show their dexterity in academics across the main core competencies: English, math, STEM, and social literacy. We have a total cash prize of 50,000 cedis, which is going to be, it has been allocated to the finalists. Also, we have presidential scholarships from our partner universities: Academic City University College, Family Health Medical School, and University of the Free State, South Africa.
We have what it takes to claim the trophy this time because the team is now strong, and then we have prepared so hard, and yes, we believe that we can take the trophy this year.
St. Augustine's College, as a college on its own, we know that we have done our best. We have done all the necessary homeworks we need to do. Then we know that by the close of tomorrow, we'll be heading back to St. Augustine's College with the trophy.
We are St. Peter's Senior High School, and we're the defending champions. The trophy is ours. It's our right and responsibility to defend it. We just want to tell all the other schools in here with us that if they try and take our trophy, they will be in for a surprise.
Okay, so expect nothing but the best from Presec Legon. We are a school that have proven ourselves in various competitions, and we prove ourselves in Sharks, and we are going to prove ourselves this season too.
May the best school win. We have business news coming up shortly. Don't go away.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to demonstrate to you the superior properties of Flamingo paint as compared to other paint brands on the market. We take equal quantities of Flamingo paint and this ordinary paint. We then dilute them with water. And now, let the test begin. The gentleman on the left is going to apply the ordinary paint, and the gentleman on my right will use the Flamingo superior paint. As you can clearly see, Flamingo has the obvious better hiding. Furthermore, Flamingo has painted a much larger area. You know, 1 bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint is made with superior formulation to give superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
You dey sleep? That's Madina.
Sentuntum say wunna ma de jume ma wonsa.
Efrema be ma Daniel ba
ma wonsa. Sentuntum ma boasu muda ma wonsa.
That shall not slap. Having black mosquito que. Pamon tontom na empom wisie bebre na ema wo mowa na ema wo nhwem na ehwam.
Having insecticide spray hwam na sanso kumu a wotu ene omo wia nyina. Now having naphthalene balls and having perfumed insect repellent no kumu a wia na senja hwa we chiri.
Having black mosquito que empom wisie bebre and say wo hwene so ehwam kama kwe no emubu na jumo size no don't shit do me no.
And a heaven spray, heaven naphthalene balls, ni perfumed insect repellent no. Ekumwa omutu na wa wonam from na senja hwawechi.
Heaven dear ba ko pe. Heaven dear dear.
Heaven dear.
FDA actually a dread kratoyatum.
You are your own person, unique, one of a kind, special. That's why you deserve everything tailored to suit your particular taste, your preference, your needs. Just like MTN Just For You. You can get customized offers tailored to who you are. Dial *141# or use the MyMTN app to get to choose from a variety of offers made just for you.
Enjoy the fruits of your labor, they say. But as humans, aging and physical infirmity stands our way of enjoying our mansions and homes. It often becomes challenging, if not impossible, to use our stairways day in, day out. With portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators, PVs, you are assured of unlimited enjoyment of your mansions and homes. It's a self-supported elevator for vertical movement of humans and goods at homes and offices. The original comes in 3 custom-made models with wheelchair accessibility. Call it luxury, but it's a necessary imperative for vertical mobility. Do not let aging or infirmity limit you. Get one for your easy vertical mobility at home. It's affordable and can be installed in just 3 days without modification to your existing building. It's however easier to incorporate it at the construction stage. We also have traditional Fuji elevators and escalators for your high-rise buildings and malls. Visit Lifts and Elevators Company Limited at Sakumono for your elevators nationwide. For free consultation to call or WhatsApp us on 0200-535-515. Lifts and Elevators, the elevator people.
The sweet scent of rose in the morning brings me so much joy. Inspired by damask rose and infused with 100% natural rose oil. Introducing new Clay Soft Perfume Beats washing powder. It's like bringing a garden with you everywhere with this wonderful perfume. Take a garden with you everywhere you go with Clay Soft Perfume Beats washing powder.
Crown your style. New Ohima collection from GTP. Now available at any of our accredited dealers nationwide or any Woodin shop. GTP. Life styled.
The business segment is brought to you by MTN.
Good evening and welcome to the very latest in the world of business. Now, the African Securities Exchange Association is working on integrating all stock markets in Africa. This means stockbrokers and investors can now provide more services to enhance value addition to their investors. Linking up African Securities Exchanges, according to the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Stock Exchange, Abena Amwa, will enable investors buy securities on any exchange that is part of the project.
Africa has seen an increase in the number of stock markets and the level of market capitalization over the last 2 decades, with improvements to market infrastructure across the continent. However, liquidity levels remain a primary concern for investors on the continent, coupled with inefficient trading systems, high transaction costs, and the lack of participation of retail investors on the market. In finding solutions, the African Exchanges Linkage Project is expected to boost liquidity by facilitating cross-border African investment and attracting more international investors.
And this will bring up enormous opportunities for the Ghana market, because people in Ghana or stockbrokers in Ghana or investors in Ghana will be able to buy shares in Nigeria, shares in Botswana, and shares in Nairobi, for example. And also, apart from that, people in other markets will be able to buy shares in the Ghana market. And this will bring in a lot of investment into the Ghana market and a lot of activity into the Ghana market.
The initiative is coming in phases to connect several other markets. Already, Ghana and Botswana have joined the first phase to enjoy rights to buy shares on other African markets to increase investment.
We think that this technology will really show and improve the liquidity that investors ask for. As liquidity improves also, we will see more companies step up to take up this opportunity. We are giving our companies the best experience of raising capital, and we are also giving investors the best experience of providing their extra savings for investments.
After full implementation of the project, 15 markets will be connected. In all, over 2,000 companies will connect across Africa, amounting to $2 trillion to increase market tradability of shares and bring in foreign investments.
Now, uncertainties on the bond market following government's domestic debt exchange program has been cited as a major reason for declining bond market activities. According to economist and research lead at GCB Capital, Courage Boti, the debt restructuring program has led to what he describes as an unattractive market for investors.
Pre and post DDP, the secondary market for bonds has been quite dormant, and for good reasons. Uncertainties on the market, liquidity issues, lack of appetite, especially given the DDP and how it eroded capital and things like that, means that market players are just not active on that segment of the market. Not because they don't want to trade, but there are no takers. So the market is more or less in a net offer position with no willing takers really. And so you see weekly trade volumes have declined significantly. There are, for several weeks, we do under 100 million trades. Last week, for instance, it did about 400 million, which is actually some significant progress from the preceding weeks. But compared to what the history is, that is dormant. That is actually weak performance, really. And I think it's largely because of the sentiment now. DDP has bent a lot of people. The market is not just attractive at this point.
Elsewhere, Pepsodent has been adjudged the oral brand of the year at the FMCG Awards. The award is among 5 others Unilever Ghana won at the event.
Unilever's flagship products, Pepsodent, won the Oral Care Brand of the Year. Key Soap won the Home Care Brand of the Year, and the DigiDentist campaign won the Innovative Initiative of the Year. Elvis Chumesi was the Brand Manager of the Year, while Nanaya Owusu-Ansah was the FMCG Ultimate Woman of the Year.
We drive this in 2 simple ways. First, it's by teaching children to brush twice daily. People have very scary ideas of dentists. The first thing they remember is that a dentist is going to pull out their tooth. It shouldn't have to get to that point. If you start early enough with good oral health care, then you will not get to a point where you lose a tooth.
Pepsodent is the #1 oral care brand in Ghana, and the company is confident in its success.
We have seen an increase by 30% in the improvement in oral health, brushing twice daily. And so we know that what we're doing is working. We also have our community dental outreaches. It's our way of helping those who are further away from the cities where dentists are clustered. We bring the dental checks to them. This year alone, in the first half of the year, we have gone to more than 70 communities. Starting from March, we have reached close to 100,000. We have a goal of getting to 500,000 free dental checks this year.
Unilever Ghana's brands offer value for money and are a major market shareholder.
Well, that's it for the very latest in the world of business. For more business news, do also visit our website on 3news.com.
You are your own person, unique, one of a kind, special. That's why you deserve everything tailored to suit your particular taste, your preference, your needs. Just like MTN Just For You. You can get customized offers tailored to who you are. Dial *141# or use the MyMTN app to get to choose from a variety of offers made just for you.
No. Please. No. Papa, kill it. Winnie. Kill it. Dodiakum.
Mothers of Africa.
Mama, will I ever be a soccer champion for Ghana?
Well, you've got to be like a geisha ball. Stay strong and go so far. Never give up till you reach your goal.
Okay, Mama, I'll be strong and go so far, lasting long like this geisha ball.
Be strong and last long
like geisha.
Every child is so unique. You like no other. Outstanding in every way.
It's me like no other.
So anytime you walk and play, you like no other. You are special like Indomie.
It's me like no other.
Did you know that every child on the planet has their own unique fingerprint like no other?
You like no other.
I can play the drums. I'm talented. It's me like no other. I can sing. I can dance.
You like no other.
As well as their own unique talents and abilities.
I can cook. I can paint.
You like no other.
Indomie. You like no other.
So every day, in whatever you do,